your name and your title, but then I'll ask you to describe your approach to it, hematology oncology.
Correct.
Right? So just your approach, and then so you might want to start out with
my approach to oncology and cancer care is sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even if you want to say the way I view this, you can kind of put your own spin on it.
Sure.
So.
Okay, I'm ready to go, and you're going to
look at him.
Yep.
All right. So just if you could start out by introducing yourself and your title.
Hello, my name is Paul Letendre. I'm a medical oncologist in hematology, a cancer doctor here at Gunderson Lutheran in the Cancer Center.
Okay. I'm going to have you do it one more time because it's not Gunderson Lutheran.
That's right. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
But that was good. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Paul Letendre. I'm a medical oncologist hematologist here at Gunderson at the Cancer Center.
All right. How would you describe your approach to hematology oncology?
My approach as a physician in oncology is kind of threefold. First and foremost is patient care, and with that, the care of their loved ones and family who join with them. Cancer is quite a large, potentially life-altering diagnosis, and most of my daily activity revolves around meeting the needs of patients, both in mind, body, and in spirit, however I can help. Each patient has a lot of unknowns, questions, uncertainties that they may have. And so first and foremost, it's really patient-centered care. Secondly would be education, providing education to patients themselves about new therapies and what's coming up, what we can and can't do, as well as education to their family members. Our role as physicians is really to provide education for our patients and their loved ones and for them to be the ultimate decision makers. Also, we have learners and are training young physicians at the Cancer Center, and so that provides an opportunity for ongoing learning and to stay relevant and up to date. And lastly, research. Particularly in the field of oncology and cancer, things are growing very rapidly with new therapeutics coming out on what seems like a weekly basis. And we need to be part of that and current with everything. And so a key foundation in research is important as well.
All right. Good answer. All right. In your mind, what's maybe the most important thing for one of your patients to know when it comes, in regards to, their care?
I think new patients coming into the clinic should first and foremost know that I and the other oncologist part of the team will always be listeners and advocates. Patients come in with a wide variety of emotions, fear of the unknown, a little anxiety, and it's our job to be listeners to know how we can best care for their needs, whether that be emotional care, maybe physical pain. It's different for everyone. And I think in order to truly understand the direction a patient would like their care to go is to first be a listener. And once you can understand where they're coming from, you can be a better patient advocate and draw better lines and draw from your experience to try to map out, with the help of patient and loved ones, the best course of action for them.
All right. What's your favorite part of your job?
I would say my favorite part of being a medical oncologist is probably the relationships I've cultivated over the years. Firstly, of course, the relationships I get to have with patients and their loved ones when we meet them. There's a lot of...
You want to start over?
Probably.
Right.
Will you read the question again?
Sure, yeah. What's your favorite part of your job?
I think my favorite part of being a medical oncologist is the relationships I've cultivated. Firstly, with patients and their loved ones. This is a journey we go through, oftentimes a life-altering journey, and when patients come in, there's fear of the unknown and what it is, and it's very rewarding to be able to establish a rapport with a patient, get to know them, know where they're coming from and their family. And then, in an ideal world, years later, we get to see them in follow-up, and those relationships really grow. I get to see parents watch their kids graduate, or grandparents get to go to their children's weddings, and that's really impactful. And then, of course, there's the interdisciplinary team and the relationships I've made at the hospital. Here at Gunderson, we have a whole interdisciplinary team made up of radiation oncologists, medical oncologists, surgeons, therapists, nurses, pharmacists, and I interact with each of them on a daily basis with patient care. And so those relationships are very important to me as well.
Why did you choose to practice medicine? How did you get into this field? That's fun. You're doing great, by the way.
Thank you. My decision to, sorry.
Do you want me to ask it again?
Sure.
Okay. How did you get into medicine?
My decision to go into medicine was actually a little later than most people. I sustained a pretty significant injury in my early 20s and ended up being in the hospital for a prolonged time, requiring several surgeries. And during that time, I was just in awe and mesmerized by how well everyone worked as a team, from nurses to therapists to doctors, all communicating and working for the common good, which in this case was me. And so I was really drawn and attracted to that part of medicine, and so since then I've always wanted to be part of the team.
You know, we just did one of these yesterday where somebody talked about kind of being on the patient side of things and how it kind of gives you maybe a better perspective, you know, especially when it comes to communicating. Do you feel that way?
I think being a patient opens up yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw a
That's
curveball
okay.
at
No,
you.
no. I think having been a patient, I do understand some of the intricacies of what you need. It's not always, oh, my foot hurts. Sometimes it's just knowing the doctor or the nurse took a minute to listen to you, or someone went that extra mile and brought you something extra that they didn't need to, something to read, an extra chocolate milk if you're thirsty, any of those things. And it's within the detail as a patient that you really start to notice how much people care and are truly here as a vocation and in a desire to help you, the patient.
All right, that was good. How do you spend your free time?
How do I spend my free time?
And this part's not really
No.
in the video. It's
Yeah.
going to be written out. So.
Okay.
Mhm.
Most of my free time is spent with my beautiful wife and my wonderful 2 young children. We love to explore what La Crosse has to offer in terms of its natural beauty in the bluffs. We love to be on the river. I've canoed most of the Mississippi River from the headwaters through Iowa. I was a high school athlete, soccer, and collegiate rugby, so I like to stay active in running and biking, and
Cool.
that's about it.
All right. Anything else you want patients to know about you?
Skull Vikings?
All right.
Probably not a good idea.
Now we can add that in the list of things you like to do. You like to watch the Vikings versus the Packers. That's all right. Well, hey, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.